Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Valorant Weekly News Roundup brought to you by SkillCapped. My name's Modix, and today we have a huge guide planned where we will talk about all sorts of news, including hit registration, playing matches with bots, and even more information on Act 2. But before we get into any of that, be sure to subscribe with notifications on, because every Sunday we release a video on the top news that happened in the past week. So if you want to stay in the loop, then be sure to subscribe with notifications on. Starting off this week's news, we need to talk about hit registration in Valorant. Ever since patch 0.50 dropped, players have been complaining about shots not registering. We all hate the feeling of hitting someone in the head only to have them kill us without dealing any damage. Luckily, Kevin Lee, one of the software engineers for Valorant, released a dev article where he went in depth with hit registration. Before we start getting into the super technical side of things, you should first understand two main terms: correctness and clarity. These terms will show up later during this article. Starting with correctness, this refers to the outcome of a shot being wrong, i.e. bullets hit the head but registers as body, or enemy players appearing differently on the client compared to the server. And then clarity refers to the presentation of a shot being hard to read, i.e. bullet hit the shoulder but visual feedback made it look like the bullet hit the head. Right now, Lee believes that the Valorant hit registration problem has more to do with clarity than correctness. This is a great sign because clarity bugs are a lot easier to fix than correctness bugs. Now, to start off the actual article, Lee went in depth with what happens after a player clicks their mouse to shoot. Let's take a look at the diagram and caption that the article provided. The moment you press a key, the input is sent to our input system, subject to a small amount of hardware/operating system latency. Each game frame, the input system will process all the inputs it has received since the previous frame. When you fire a shot, that fire input is sent to the server alongside a timestamp for what the frame in the simulation the shot happened. It's important to note that the timestamp is according to what is currently rendered on your screen at the time of the input being received by Valorant. We now have to follow the shot on two different simulations, the clients and the servers. Let's start with the client, or your local machine. Immediately after the shot has been sent off to the server, the client starts working on displaying a muzzle flash and tracer for the shot. At the earliest, this will happen one frame after your input has been fired, since the game needs to render a new frame to your screen. This is important because it means the frame a shot is processed is not the same frame that a tracer is displayed. It's actually at least one frame before. This can sometimes lead to a failure in shot clarity. The common way this desync could be solved is to delay the bullet. We don't do this because delaying the bullet adds input latency, which we want to minimize in Valorant. With respect to hit confirms, the client waits until it hears back from the server on the result before displaying a hit confirm. In order to guarantee consistency across all users and to prevent cheaters from hacking their clients to give false shot results are entirely server authoritative. Meanwhile, the server eventually receives a message from the client that a shot has been fired. Due to internet latency, time has passed since this shot has been fired. To ensure the shot is fired against the same simulation that was shown to the player, the server rewinds the simulation to this timestamp given by the client before evaluating hit registration. This includes rewinding player positions and animation poses. It then sends the result of the shot back to the client. For the sake of this example, let's say it was a headshot. The client will receive a message from the server with the result of the shot and then plays the VFX and audio that's appropriate. In this case, it would be headshot VFX and audio. Because the client has to wait for the server to tell it the result of the shot, there is a delay between the tracer and the hit effects equal to your connection's round trip time, i.e. 40 milliseconds to the server equals 80 milliseconds delay between tracer and hit VFX, plus a minor amount of processing time. With higher latencies, this delay can become noticeable in real time. So now that we know all the steps that happen in between left clicking your mouse and getting the kill, we can talk about a few case studies. In our first case study, we will be taking a look at what happens when a player hits a moving target. In this clip, we can see that the player successfully lands a headshot on the running player. Here we can see two frames from the video. On the left, you can see that in the frame before the tracer is fired, the player's crosshair is on the enemy's head. However, on the right, we can see that the frame where the tracer comes out, this is no longer the case. Now let's take a look at a new clip. This clip shows the same scenario, but the shot just barely misses the target. Once again, we went ahead and paused the video frame by frame, and the picture on the left of your screen shows the frame before the tracer is fired, and the picture on the right shows the frame where the tracer comes out. We can see that the left frame shows the crosshair not lined up with the head, but once the tracer is fired, in the next frame, the crosshair moves onto the head. This shows that when reviewing video or replays, the devs need to look at the frame before the tracer to get a more accurate picture of when the shot was fired. Now let's go back to the first clip where the shot hit and look at the frame when the VFX was rendered. As you can see, there's a noticeable gap between the player's current location and the location of the hit VFX due to the delay caused by internet latency. This can be confusing when you're trying to understand what happens with your shot, since you'll most likely be focused on the enemy's current location, not their location at the time of the shot. This can also lead to additional confusion in crouching/strafing scenarios. This leads us right into our second case study. This will mainly be talking about crouching into shot VFX. A lot of us have probably seen this clip floating around the community, so this should help clear up a few misunderstandings. This is what Lee had to say. When our team goes to investigate reports of bad hit reg, situations like this one are the most frequent cause for what appears to be incorrect hit registration. In fact, hit registration is working correctly. Shots are going where you're aiming, ignoring spread or movement error when you press the fire button, and that shot is accurately registering on the server. However, a few different factors cause this particular case to be visually misleading. 1. Hit VFX are delayed due to internet latency. 2. Hit VFX are displayed at the location of the original shot impact. 3. The target player is moving, most often crouching. Here's a clip where we can break down what this means. In this clip, the player hits a shoulder shot on the enemy player, but because we need to wait for the server to confirm the hit, it's 100 milliseconds later when the hit VFX starts to play on the location of the body shot. But during these 100 milliseconds, the enemy player started to crouch. This moves their head right behind the newly spawned hit VFX. At long ranges, a body hit VFX can be confused for a headshot hit VFX, and this is what happened in the two clips we showed you. This is a failure in hit registration clarity that the devs are actively trying to improve. One of the things that they're experimenting with is tying hit VFX to the body part of the character where the hit occurred, so that there is a clear relationship even with high latency. Another way that the devs are trying to fix these problems is by having blood and spark effects spawn on the character's current position according to which part of their body got hit, and follow them as they move. This greatly increases the clarity in situations like in case study 2 with crouching enemies, because the visual effect will move with their body movements. This and many other features are still being tested, so it might be a while before they are implemented. That does wrap up the article on hit registration, so hopefully this helped out some questions you had on the topic. Now moving on to a completely separate note, we need to talk about a few leaks that were found with the Act 2 update. To start us off, we now know the end date for Act 2. This will be Tuesday, October 13th at 12 o'clock a.m. And just like in Act 1, every week we'll have unique weekly challenges. Luckily, these also got leaked. Here, take a look. So no new challenge types coming with Act 2, but we can see that a total of all the weekly challenges will grant us 141,750 XP. This isn't anywhere close to the total XP required to complete the whole battle pass, so if you want to do that, then you better start playing. Now our final leak for this video is a clip of Floxy, one of the Valorant data miners, playing a Valorant game with bots. Just a quick disclaimer, no, you will not be able to do this anytime soon. In fact, Agersant, a Riot employee, said this on the topic. This is a cube we use for internal testing, not a game mode being worked on. Those bots are dumber than rocks too. I have yet to see one pick up the spike even by accident. Now without further ado, here's the clip. Think what you want, but I believe that this could be a really good warm-up tactic if it was implemented into Valorant. It would be really good for mastering crosshair placement, but I guess we'll just have to go into the shooting range in order to kill the bots. Well, that wraps it up for all the leaks, but before we end this video, I want to leave you all with this tweet from Valorant's official Twitter. It reads, "Due to Riot's planned summer break, the next patch will go out August 20th, 2 days later than our normal schedule. I know that this isn't too big of a deal, but I just wanted to let you all know." Well, that's all for me today. Thanks so much for watching all the way through this video, and if you did, be sure to let me know what your thoughts are about Act 2. Are you enjoying the update, or did you like the game more during Act 1? And while you're down there, be sure to subscribe with notifications on, because SkillCapped is bringing you high quality guides to help you improve your Valorant skill, along with videos like this one that will help you understand the future changes coming to the game. Everyone here at SkillCapped, thanks you so much for watching this week's Valorant News Roundup. This is Modix signing off, and I will see you all in the next one.